BYU beats West Virginia 38-24, but are the Cougars in big trouble with a tough schedule coming up over the next 4 games, or did they just show us something that's going to unlock a Big 12 championship game appearance? Welcome into the channel. John Kurtz here, talk college football from a Big 12 perspective. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. This was a sloppy one for BYU, no doubt. Final score, they didn't cover at 38-24, but you might look at it and think ho-hum. Kalani Sitake does not think this was ho-hum. He is very frustrated about the sloppiness that BYU showed for the first time really all season. And it says they're heading into the teeth of their schedule. And to me, as emblematic of anything of this game was Kalani Sitake's third quarter sideline interview, which was right after the Javessa Damuni fumble. And I mean, it's about as annoyed as I've seen Kalani Sitake look. Like he is not thrilled, not willing to engage in answering a question about Bear Bachmeier. It's right back to, hey, we got to all play better and get back to the fundamentals and not turn the ball over. And then immediately after that, Tiger Bachmeier fumbled the ball out of bounds, like right in front of Kalani Sitake. So, I'm sure that was not making the head ball coach very happy. And after the game, some good quotes here. Kalani Sitake called it frustrating. He used the word undisciplined. He used the word thoughtless. Thoughtless, man, that's a strong one. I mean, you can curse all you want, but you say that was thoughtless. Like, oh man, like that hurts. That cuts to the core of me. Look, it should have been a much bigger win for BYU. West Virginia's totally outmanned right now. I will give them credit. I mean, West Virginia definitely fought, and Khalil Wilkins was just fighting his butt off. He had to carry the ball 23 times. Rich Rod, you're going to get your quarterbacks killed, my guy. I get that that's the best thing that you have going with your offense, but they're not going to make it through with a healthy quarterback if they're running Khalil Wilkins 23 times a game. But BYU outgained West Virginia by 250, almost 250 yards, and they forced a couple of West Virginia turnovers. Like you would figure that's the recipe for, especially when you know that Bear Bachmeier threw for over 350 yards. You'd think that's a recipe for like a 30-point BYU win, and instead it's 14 and you're not covering. Of course, that happens because BYU had a screen pass intercepted. That was the first interception of Bear Bachmeier's season, which credit to him for going 98 passes without having one picked. That's insane. Guy made it to October as a true freshman in college football without an interception. That's impressive no matter what offense you're running, no matter how you're doing this. But then, the worst turnover of the night was the option pitch that got whacked down and turned into a fumble near the goal line that set up a West Virginia score. And then I mentioned the Damuni fumble that turns into a score that was right outside the red zone. So lots of sloppiness. And that's not even taking into account the penalties. I believe BYU had over 70 yards in penalties in the game. West Virginia didn't wind up scoring on that drive, but they had basically a stop inside the red zone late in the game, like under 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. And there's a very silly late hit penalty that comes in. There was an offsides penalty when West Virginia is trying to score at the 1 yard line on that drive too. I mean, it was just like over and over again. You're like, this is not what I expect from BYU at all. So on one hand, you have that as you're getting ready to head to Arizona, who, look, I don't think Arizona is great, but if you turn it over 3 times and you have 70 yards in penalties, you can definitely get beat in Tucson. And I would not advise doing that right before not only the Holy War, but then road trips to Iowa State and Texas Tech. Like it's about to get real here as far as the schedule goes. However, I will say there's a part of me that looks at this game and thinks, look, BYU will clean up the sloppiness. They'll be fine. That's pretty uncharacteristic of them. Maybe there's an instance of letting your guard up a bit against a team that you knew was pretty undermanned here. And what we saw tonight was that BYU unleashed a downfield passing attack like we hadn't seen so far this year. I mean, Bear Bachmeier goes 18 of 25 for 351 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. And I guess I say downfield passing game. There was a ton of run after the catch, but it was just the way that BYU was able to move the football through the air. I mean, that was prolific, dude. 20 yards per completion, 14 yards per attempt for Bear Bachmeier. If you're curious, 12 yards per attempt that's the nation's leader right now in college football, is at 12 yards per attempt. BYU was at 14 per attempt tonight. I mean, great throw. Broadcast made this point, hammered it home, and it was such a great throw to Chase Roberts on the RPO slant that turned into, I think that was an 85-yard reception. There were two others that were 40-plus yard receptions in the game for BYU, and they came out trying to establish that. I mean, that seemed like what Aaron Roderick was trying to do. Like first offensive play, right, was a bomb to Chase Roberts, kind of throw it up. So BYU was looking to do that early on in drives throughout the game. Clearly, they made a point to do that. They've got some studs out wide. Chase Roberts had 4 for 161. I mean, not bad, right? 40 yards per catch. Parker Kingston had 4 for 111. And one thing that you got to like, Bear Bachmeier didn't let the turnovers phase him. Each time he turned it over, both after the fumble and the interception, next drive they get the ball, touchdown drive, march down and score. So no real issues with letting that linger. Again, he continues to show poise beyond his years. I think we all, by this point, kind of knew that was there, but that just reinforced that concept even more, though he's susceptible to making mistakes, as we saw for the first time really this year. That's going to happen. And especially, just prepare yourself over the next 4 weeks. You're going to play some good defenses. Arizona's defense much improved this year. I don't know that they're great, but they're much improved. And then, boy, after that, when you go play Utah, Iowa State, Texas Tech, you're going to see some really good defenses there. So, look, I don't think this is anything to panic about for BYU. And in fact, like I said, I would be leaning almost toward, hey, if that gets the passing game going more and that showcases or gives Bear Bachmeier and the offense some more confidence in what they can do in pushing the ball downfield with the passing game, that's kind of unlocking a new element of the offense that hasn't been there to this extent. So I'm sure I didn't check too much of like BYU Twitter last night, but I'm sure there's a lot of back and forth sniping between Utah fans and BYU fans because Utah beat West Virginia 48-14 in Morgantown. So, if you're going to play the comparative score game and just like game flow, like how it went, I mean, Utah came out and just went bam, bam, bam. They were throwing haymakers from the start in that game. You can get caught up in all that, man. But anybody who's doing that, if you think the Holy War is going to be anything less than a total dogfight, I think that's pretty misguided and silly. Like that game's going to be a total dogfight. I can't wait for it. And don't play the comparative score game too much. You just got to worry about getting the sloppiness cleaned up as you go to Arizona. Because like I said, I do think that's losable if you come in there with a poor effort, right? Like, I guess you could put it this way: how different is Arizona from like Colorado right now? A Colorado team that absolutely pushed BYU, jumped out in front of them on the road. I mean, I think Colorado is more talented, but in terms of what they are as teams, I don't know that there's a ton of difference there. And that was obviously a losable game for the Cougs in Boulder. So that definitely could happen. Now, another thing to really make note of in this game, that this is something tangibly concerning to be concerned about, is Jack Kelly and Isaiah Glasker both getting hurt. Glasker didn't really play in the second half. That's apparently more precautionary, according to the TV broadcast and what Kalani Sitake said after the game. But Jack Kelly leaves with his arm in a sling. That's never something that you want to see. That linebacking core is so damn good. I was just listening last week to the Pro Football Focus guys saying Glasker, should be up for like the Buckus Award and might be the best linebacker in the country right now, the way he's played so far this year. Those guys combined for the game sealing play against Colorado and Caden Salter the week before. Like, you can't, that would be a huge blow, right? And, the conference, it's just been a brutal last couple of weeks for injuries in the conference. Iowa State lost Jontez Williams for the season this week with an ACL. That's the second starting corner that they've now lost for the season. Tired of seeing all these injuries, dude. So I hope that it's nothing too serious for Jack Kelly. Here's what Kalani Sitake said after the game. He said Jack Kelly, quote, was actually feeling pretty good. This being after the game. We will evaluate tomorrow for him and Glasker. And then, yeah, another note here. This is from Jay Drew at the Deseret News, but he said Kalani Sitake said Glasgow wanted to go back in, but was held out for precautionary reasons. So had that not been a game that they felt like they kind of had in hand, you probably would have seen Isaiah Glasgow actually out there playing. But anyway, all in all, I think it's fine. It's not nothing that you're going to really write home about for BYU. I can understand a subdued reaction to it. I can understand a frustrated reaction to it for Kalani Sitake, but just go take care of business at Arizona. If you get to 6-0, you're going into the Holy War, or Utah's coming to Lavelle Edwards. Like, that's absolutely a game that you can win, right? I think that's going to be a 3-point to 7-point possession game, one way or the other. And then go take your shot at Texas Tech and Iowa State. Those are road trips to Lubbock and Ames. The way the schedule broke this year, it's about as tough a break as you could draw, but you just go take your shot, man. Go take a swing at it. So, and hopefully for the Cougars' sake, that downfield passing game, or just passing game in general, catch and run, whatever it might be, when you got Kingston and Roberts running after the catch, it sure looks pretty damn good. You hope that continues as Bear Bachmeier still is developing. I mean, this shows you through freshman, high ceiling, there's going to be a lot of room for growth throughout the season. And you saw that even on a night when he had his first couple of turnovers of the season. So appreciate you guys. Like the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Be tuned in the rest of the weekend. I'll be talking to you very soon.